Did y'all watch it? Let me give a shout out to the people that watched the debate with me last night on live. We had a good time. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have made it through that debate. It was a complete circus. The moderators, in my opinion, were the ringleaders. There was some highs that I want to talk about. I was surprised. Let's get into it. Now, before this debate, I had it set in my head that Christie was going to come out on top. Why? Christie is a debate coach. He coached other people, right? So I thought for sure Christie was going to come out on top. Number one, because he has knowledge and the issues here in the United States. He has knowledge on foreign policy. He has experience as a government official. And he is one of the only ones that is calling out Donald Trump. So I thought for sure that he was going to be a star last night. Boy, was I wrong. The other thing I had in my head was that Tim Scott and Nikki Haley were going to get on my nerves because, you know, they like to pander to the racists. Tim Scott with his America is not a racist country. You know, pandering to racist white people, the MAGA crowd. So I thought we were going to get that last night from Tim Scott. He completely fizzled. I can't tell you one thing that he said. In every response that he tried to give, he tried to present himself as this compassionate and empathetic man. And this is how he does it. And I'm just like, what? And he always reverts back to this little black boy who's made it, this little black boy of a single mother who's made it in the United States, which in his view means that America is not a racist country. He fizzled. I can't even tell you one thing he said last night. The next person, Vivek Ramaswamy, he was to me like the gnats or the flies that's constantly buzzing around you and you're doing like this. That was Vivek Ramaswamy to me. He was arrogant. He was clueless to the issues. He talked a lot of nonsense that meant nothing. He was disrespectful not only to the fellow people on the stage, but to a Gen Xer, Gen Zer, the kid that asked the question about climate change. He immediately perked up and said this.
No, I didn't raise a hand. Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to declare independence for it. And the reality is, the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy.
That is disrespectful. He said that as if we aren't watching literally right now what's happening in Maui. He was loud. He was boastful. Just plain ignorant. He was the clown of the debate. Miss Nikki Haley was the winner of last night's debate. She was serious. She was direct in her response. She showed her knowledge in the issues that are affecting Americans in this country. She spoke facts. She spoke truth in her responses. There was no spinning facts, lying, manipulating facts. There was none of that. She was straight and to the point with the facts. She set Vivek Ramaswamy in his place, she showed how much he lacks in experience and knowledge when it came to foreign policy. But we must remember, Nikki Haley is still Nikki Haley. She talks, she's very two-faced. She did that last night because she wants to pull in the independent vote. But when she's not on center stage on a mass scale, she talks out of the other side of her face. Right? Nikki Haley cannot be trusted, in my opinion. But last night on that stage, she used a quote from Margaret Thatcher. And she said, if you want to talk about the issues, bring in a man. If you want to get something done about the issues, bring in a woman. Those aren't the exact words, but y'all get the point. Nikki Haley won the debate, hands down, last night. Here are some of the highlights. Christie, up first.
Here's the bottom line. Someone's got to stop normalizing this conduct. Okay? Now whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong, the conduct is beneath the office of President of the United States. And you know, this is the great thing about this country. Booing is allowed, but it doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the truth.
Mr. Ramaswamy, change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you bought and paid for?
Down by
Hold on.
in the last century.
Listen.
Hold on. I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here. And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, what's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here, was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Now, who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name, and what the heck is he doing in the middle of this debate stage?
Of a skinny kid with a funny name.
Now we knew Christie was going to get in Donald Trump's ass. We knew he was going to be the one to talk about his behavior and his conduct and these indictments, right? We knew he was going to be the one. But I was so happy when he put Vivek Ramaswamy in his place, because Vivek Ramaswamy was a straight buffoon. Not only did Christie put Vivek Ramaswamy in his place, Mike Pence, he livened up during the debate last night, and he said this.
We said, if you're willing to fight the communists on your soil, we'll give you the means to fight them there so our troops don't have to fight them. Vivek, if we do the giveaway that you want to give to Putin to give him his land, it's not going to be too long before he rolls across a NATO border, and frankly, our men and women of our armed forces are going to have to go and fight him. I want to let the Ukrainians fight and drive Putin and the Russians back out into Russia.
I want to just briefly address Pence. Vice President Pence, I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990.
Did I say
the real threat? You talked about the communists, and the real communists that we have to address right now
have any
is the
idea what Vladimir Putin's aims are.
You already spoke. Now I actually have something to say.
Vladimir Putin has been saying he wants to reestablish the old Soviet sphere
You've made
of
your point,
influence.
Vice President.
Now, if you think I'm sorry if I insulted him by calling him a communist. He is a dictator and a murderer, and the United States of America needs to stand against authoritarianism.
Yes, Mike Pence put Vivek Ramaswamy in his place. Vivek Ramaswamy has no foreign policy experience. None. Straight disrespectful. Over-talking. Overbearing. Straight ass last night. And then Miss Nikki Haley. Here are some of what she had to say last night that stood out.
Care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. And while they're all saying this, you have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt. And Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt. And our kids are never going to forgive us for this. And so at the end of the day, you look at the 2024 budget, Republicans asked for $7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House. Vice President Pence did the right thing. And I do think that we need to give him credit for that. But what I will also tell you is, look, I mean, when it comes to whether President Trump should serve or not, I trust the American people. Let them vote. Let them decide. But what they will tell you is that it is time for a new generational conservative leader. We have to look at the fact that 3/4 of Americans don't want a rematch between Trump and Biden. And we have to face the fact that Trump is the most disliked politician in America. We can't win a general election that way. Once Russia takes Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That's a world war. We're trying to prevent war. Look at what Putin did today. He killed Prigozhin. When I was at the UN, the Russian ambassador suddenly died. This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over a pro-American country.
First of all, Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 30 seconds. Mr. DeSantis, Governor
Nikki,
DeSantis,
I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
You know, I'm not on
but the fact of the matter,
and you know,
Boeing came off of it, but you've been pushing this lie. You've been pushing this lie all week,
Nikki. You want to go and defund Israel? You want to
okay, let me address that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to address each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional politician. There you have it.
Your watch,
so the reality
is, America less safe. You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have.
That's it. That's all. There's nothing else to say. You didn't miss nothing else. There was 2 guys that was on the stage. I was like, who is this? Who are these people? Let's see. I wrote the names down. Doug Buckrum and Asa Hutchinson. They were on the stage last night. I can't tell you anything that they said. Tim Scott fizzled. Yeah, that's it. Y'all let me know your thoughts down below. I'll see y'all in the next one.